It is wonderful to see you all here today. How many people are on their last day of term? And forgive me if you work through the summer, this is going to feel a bit raw for you, but is anybody on their last day today? Give me a thumbs up in it, yeah, or a hands up, one on the end of your arm, or your reaction. So how wonderful is it to spend the day thinking about all the work we've done this year, the research you've done, the things you've learned, and having a chance to hear from everyone else who's been working away around the country. This is our favourite day of the year. We're absolutely thrilled to have the chance to bring you together. I wish we could be in the same actual room because I just want to give so many of you a great big hug. So let's hope that if there's a next time that we can actually get together, because I'm missing that. I wonder if everyone else is feeling the same. It would be nice. I'm Claire. I think I've met most of you, but just in case you're a guest today and we haven't met, I have the great privilege of heading up the OTLA programme with a brilliant team. So to all the core team, to the research group leads, to the mentors, just wave for everyone now. Just acknowledge who you are. Come on, Jean, let's see you wave, everyone. Come. You're brilliant and it's a pleasure to work with you. So I'm going to start the day by saying that. And you'll spot us, as Chloe said, because we popped CCC after our names. So if you get stuck at any point during today, just find us in chat and we'll point you in the right direction. I'm going to share a couple of slides with you in a minute, just so that I can orientate us. You'll get them at the end of the day. I'm going to tell you when I share slides, so if you've got a sight impairment or you get headaches from being on screen, just look away from the screen for a minute while we get started. And could you all do me a favour? We're going to have some people who've got things happening this morning or sitting in their offices now going, oh, where's the link? I can't find it. Could you help us make them feel welcome? So if you spot new people arrive, pop into chat and say hi to them by name if you spot them, and then everyone will feel like it doesn't matter if they're a little bit late. Thank you, that will make a real difference, I'm sure. So let me share my screen now and we'll make a start. So the first thing to say is that some of you have been adding to our welcome Padlet, and you can carry on doing that. One of my colleagues will pop the link into chat, just because things disappear, don't they, up the chat in Zoom. So if you want to say hi and where you are, hi, I'm Claire and I'm in Merseyside, that's a really great place to do it. If you're a tweeter, if you like to spend time in Twitter, the hashtag today is #OTLA, but there's lots of other ways that you can reflect, including jotting things down on a piece of paper. And I would recommend you have a piece of paper next to you if you haven't already got one. Really important thing for today. So let me just switch screens for a minute. And this is your go-to place if you're not sure what you're looking for. So let me just stop sharing. I'm going to bring up my browser. So let me just bring that up on the screen. This is our landing page for today. And again, one of my colleagues will pop the link into chat. I know you've all got it because you're here, but you'll find lots of things on here that are useful. At some point today, if you're feeling like a stretch, then there's some great ideas there for some desk stretches that you can do. Lots of things that you might want to have a look at, you know, if you're having a break and you want to have a little scroll through. I'll orientate you to this Mentimeter shortly. If I just scroll down the screen, you'll find every time we need to do something, it's indicated on here and all the links that you need. So you'll see that we are now on the welcome, and we're shortly going to hear from David, who's got some important messages for you. Then we'll hear from Catherine Manning, and Catherine is the Head of Practitioner Research at the Education Training Foundation, who are our funders. So we were really happy to hear from them. And then Vicky is going to introduce Joe and Alistair, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. So that's your landing page, and throughout the day you can find all the links to the different rooms you might want to go to on here. A little bit further up are the summaries of each of the presentations if you want to have a look. So that's your go-to place for everything that's important today. Let me share my slides again. As I say on there, you've got the project summaries, and that'll be a really nice place to go back to as well, and just remind yourself of all the different things you've heard during the day. So a little aid memoir after the session, as well as a way to find where you want to go. So I'm going to pass across to David, and before David talks a little bit more about your projects, if you're a guest today and you haven't written a report or you haven't done some action research through OTLA, here's a heads up as to what to expect by the end of July, and over to you, David.
Right. Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to very quickly say something about what's going to happen to the project reports that you've been writing. Just let me get into the correct screen. I've seen quite a few of them already, and they are looking fabulous. They're really good. So we just need to check that they're all formatted the way that ETF like them, and then we'll convert them into a PDF. Then we'll pass them on to be uploaded onto the Excellence Gateway's Practitioner Research and Evidence portal. And on there, there'll be a web page with a brief description of your project. This is one from last year. And the PDF version of your report can be downloaded from a link. We'll also be uploading digital versions of the reports to the Clare Collins Consultancy website, where we'll be able to provide links to recordings of your group presentations from today. And there'll also be links to all of the appendices and any other resources that you might have produced as part of your project. We did say that you could have the opportunity to make some final tweaks to your reports following today's event if you want to. So if, for example, somebody points out something really important after your presentation that you hadn't realized was important, you could go back and add it into your report if you want to. Or you might be able to include some quotes from attendees about your presentation. We're not expecting many, if any, changes, so we'll give you to the end of next week to either submit details of any amendments to your mentor or let them know that we can go ahead with the current version. As well as the reports that go on the Excellence Gateway and the CCC website, in the past we've always created a printed anthology of your work. This was our first attempt from OTLA 3. It was quite thin, 56 pages. By the time we got to OTLA 6, the book had grown a bit. It was 216 pages. This year's booklet is going to be even bigger and better. We've been referring to the OTLA 6 booklet as the Big Green Book. This year, because we've been also supporting Shaping Success and Essential Digital Skills action research projects, we're going multicolored, and we're referring to it as the Big Rainbow Book. What will go in the booklet is the main part of your report, but without the appendices and resources. So because it has to work as a standalone document, we may need to do a little bit of editing to move any references to appendices, but don't worry, we'll sort that out. One more thing that we're going to need for the booklet is a cover photograph. You'll see that for OTLA 3, we had a group of participants working collaboratively at one of our events. And for OTLA 6, we had a shot of Rhonda from the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea presenting at the final event, which incidentally was just a few days before the first lockdown. This year's been a bit different. We haven't been able to grab photographs of participants because we haven't been able to have face-to-face events. So how can we represent in a photograph what's been happening this year? Well, we've all been meeting using Teams or Zoom like we are today. So maybe a cover that represents OTLA in 2021 could be of someone in an online meeting. So we thought we could do something like the cover we used for OTLA Digital, but with a Zoom meeting on the laptop screen. What I'm leading up to is that I'd like to use a screenshot from today's event in the cover photo if we can. So while we're all in the main room for this first part of the event, I'm going to take some screenshots in gallery view. So those of you who are still in your pajamas, you might want to check that you're covered up properly. Andy has assured me that he's got his best set of teeth in, so we should get a nice smile from him. My wife has insisted that I run a comb through my hair, although I'm not sure that's been entirely successful. But why should I worry when you can get to be Prime Minister without learning how to brush your hair? Now, I'm not saying that you all need to rush out and put your lipstick on. Bear in mind that if we do use your image, it's going to be one of 49 on a laptop screen. So it's going to be tiny and probably no one will be able to recognize you except yourself. If you definitely don't want to appear in the cover photo, just turn your camera off for the next 10 minutes or so. By leaving your camera on, you'll grant permission for us to use the images that we capture for the purpose that I've just explained. So thanks for your help with that. If you have any other suggestions for things we could include in the cover photograph, please drop them into chat. Thanks everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day.
So all I'm thinking now is how can we represent what's been going on this year? So how about we do something like put a hat on, or I thought even perhaps we could wear our masks. So I'm just going to find my video filter mask. Apologies if you lip read, I won't leave this on for long. But if you can find a hat or something that when we look back at this in years to come, we'll think, oh my goodness, 2020, 2021, what a year that was. So as David's taking photos, I'm going to take mine off because I'm just conscious about accessibility now. But if you want to put up a real or a virtual mask on, yes, Carly, put some emojis around your screen. That's if you're going to Carly's presentation and to Tina's presentation, this will make great sense when you get there. And David will be busy snapping, and as he said, if you want to pop your camera off, if you don't want to be on the screen, you can, but it will be really tiny and it will be so wonderful to see faces. You can think, hey, there's Trisha or there's Susie. Yeah, put on your hats, put on your best garb, real or virtual masks, and then David will be snapping. Oh, Bob, you just make me laugh when you go into highwayman mode. I can't think of you in any other way now. So in a moment, we're going to hear from Dr. Catherine Manning, and Catherine is the Head of Mentoring and Practitioner Research at the Education and Training Foundation. She's on leave this week, so has recorded a video, but before she comes on, and I'm going to really put a couple of colleagues on the spot now, so you know what's coming, Jaya and Fleur, who have been supporting us throughout this programme, do you just want to say, I don't want you to make a speech, I just wanted to give you the chance to wave and say hi. Do you want to pop your mics on and just say hello? I've not warned you this was going to happen, but I just wanted to thank you. So thank you.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for taking part in the OTLA programme. I'm really looking forward to the presentations today. Yeah, it has been a crazy year, but the fact that you guys have managed to go through the programme is a real testament, and thank you for participating.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Lovely to see such a great turnout today, and yet have had such great participation throughout the life of the project. So yeah, great to see you all and looking forward to today.
And thank you for your support. So let me share my screen now. Look away for a moment if you get strained eyes, and I'm going to share a short welcome from Catherine. So come with me into the slides.
Hello everyone, my name is Catherine Manning and I am the National Head of Mentoring and Practitioner Research at the Education and Training Foundation. I'm delighted to be able to welcome you to the event today, where you'll have the chance to share what you've learned from your action research projects with others. And equally, and perhaps even more excitingly, you're going to have the chance to learn about some really useful strategies and resources which you can take away and use in your settings with your learners. So it will be a really rich and inspiring day, which I hope you enjoy. At the UTF, we're really looking forward to receiving the final research reports, which you're going to be writing up, or maybe you have written up already. And the reason we're really excited about this is because the research reports which we receive through this programme tend to be really cutting edge in terms of both their content and their design. And we want to use those rich findings to support other people in the sector who haven't taken part in the programme. So what we'll do is add your research reports and outputs to our website, and we'll also do promotion around that to let people know that they're there. So we'll work with you and with Claire Collins Consultancy and colleagues to make sure that you have opportunities to disseminate what you've learned far and wide. As practitioner researchers, you're in a brilliant position to offer insights into the learning process and into how learners learn, which other types of researchers and other types of professionals just don't have. So we're really excited to read those reports when they come through. We'll be really proud of them, and I hope that you are as well. If any of you are interested in continuing your practitioner researcher journey, then you might want to apply for ETF's Practitioner Research Programme, and details of that are available on our website. But regardless of whether you decide to apply for that programme or not, we really hope that the learning you've got from taking part in these action research projects, you're able to continue to use in the future. So that might involve undertaking more action research projects, or it might involve further developing the strategies and resources that you've put together during this cycle of action research. Finally, I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank you for your contributions to the project so far. I'd like to thank you for your attendance today. And I hope that you've really enjoyed the programme, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks very much.
Oh, it matters. And here we have ETF saying we can't wait to get your reports because it's going to make such a big difference to all the work we do. Before we go on, Adam, is that a jelly mould? I have to ask you. That's a very impressive hat. And Neil, your Captain America mask, you just told me that you were told to wear a mask in college and that this is the way you've come up with. I need to go and find hats now. If you've worked with me before, you know I have a bit of a passion for hats. So in a minute when we get started, I'm going to go and get all my silly ones too and join in. So
yeah, I've just got to tell you that Adam's it isn't a jelly mold, it's an energy dome.
What's an energy
dome?
What's an energy dome?
If anyone's heard of the band Devo from the late 70s, 80s, 90s, energy domes is what they wore on stage.
I need an energy dome. Okay. And Jean too, I'm liking the cap. So perhaps we can find our hats over lunchtime if you're able to grab one. But you've got virtual ones down there too. And I don't know the band Devo. This is my education for the day. So I'm going to go and find out more about them. No, and I don't know the Whippet song, whoever said that. So I haven't lived. I need to find out more. I'm going to now pass across to our brilliant project manager, Dr. Vicky Butterby, and Vicky's going to tell you a little bit more about how today works and about the programme and introduce some special guests. So Vicky, over to you.
Thank you, Claire, and thanks everyone. Your hats and emojis are taking my nerves away, so I really appreciate that. It's just absolutely wonderful to be here, and 126 people in the room at the moment, 126 people who care about research in FE and post-16 learning. It's just, it gets me so excited. Claire, I wonder if you wouldn't mind sharing the slides again, if that's okay. Because for me, I feel like we are in dream country, and some of you might recognise the picture there. It comes from the book The BFG, and for those of you who know me, I'm an absolutely huge Roald Dahl fan, and this is the 1982 edition of the BFG that I have here, and that's where that picture comes from. And Roald Dahl books inspired me growing up, and they inspire me as an adult, and they inspire me in my work as an educator as well. And I feel like I can take things from the different books that really resonate with work with learners, and the BFG is no exception. So Claire, if you could pop up the first quote. So the BFG, he has literacy issues. He worries about it. He gets stressed about his words. He says, words, he said, is also a twicking problem to me all my life. So you must simply try to be patient and stop scribbling. As I was telling you before, I know exactly what words I am wanting to say, but somehow or other, they is always getting squiddled around. What we know about the BFG is that having literacy issues does not mean that he doesn't have something important to say or a unique perspective to bring. And again, I just feel like such a resonance between his story and the stories that are shared by so many of our learners when we're working in FE and post-16 learning. Thanks, Claire. So the BFG says we're in dream country. This is where all dreams are beginning. And for me, I feel like we have a role as FE-based practitioners. And in my opinion, we've got a responsibility as well to research our practice. So we should be ensuring that we're developing approaches for learners in our settings that truly support them to make the progress, the lasting progress, and to pursue their dreams. Let's help our learners come into dream country too. So what we do in our work is so important, and we're not only improving our teaching, we're providing a platform for voices that are seldom heard. It may feel like on your project, and certainly when I did my research project at times, it might feel like you've only learnt a little bit. But the thing is, when we put it all together, we create a really grounded understanding of teaching and learning, and a valuable and unique contribution to knowledge within our sector. And thanks, Claire. And this is what the BFG says. He says, I'm hearing all the secret whisperings of the world. And our privileged position as insider researchers enables us to hear, illuminate, and make meaning from the secret whisperings of FE and post-16 learning. So just as the BFG knows what to collect and mix and how to mix those perfect dreams, collectively, all of that knowledge that we've generated through our research projects together helps us to tell us the story of our practice, but it also helps us lobby for change. And where we witness inequalities within our sector, we can contribute to the development of learner-centered practices that are equitable for our learners. So as we move through the day, think about those dreams, think about the importance of your work, that what can feel like a little bit in your organisation is contributing to one huge picture, a really important picture that can help make a massive difference for learners in FE and post-16 learning. But we're not alone to tell the stories, and today storytelling is going to be a feature of our unconference, of our sharing event together. So Claire, if I could have the next slide, please. Here to help tell the story of our research journeys, we've got our wonderful colleagues from FE Research Podcast, Joe and Alistair. Joe is going to stay for most of the morning and Alistair is going to stay for the afternoon. And we really appreciate that you're both juggling end of term things to be with us. And I'm going to pass over to Joe in a minute just to introduce her role and what she's going to be doing today, and to tell us a little bit too about the work of FE Research Podcast and how we can carry on sharing our stories when we finish this event today. But finally, just before I pass over to Joe, we can all share the stories. And you might remember a little while ago, we put out a call for anyone who was an artist or a drawer or was into vlogging or blogging or writing. And that offer is still there. So if you feel inspired today and you think, I really want to write something, I want to draw something, then we would love to hear from you and we'll support you all the way. So without further ado, I'm going to pass over to Joe. Thanks, Joe.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Gosh, this is exciting for me as perhaps it is for some of you, with the impending football match. That's about as how sort of passionate I am about being here today. What you're doing is really, really important. And I'm sort of here today to present a bit of a challenge to you. When you step outside the OTLA bubble, think about all the places you can go to. Now, I know some of your names and I know that some of you already write and speak at things, but some of you not yet. So keep at it if you're doing it. If not, write in that book, go to that conference, go to that podcast, that radio show. Put your paper in for the tests or the set intuition or, whatever it is. Sadly, not everybody will head to the gateway to see these fabulous publications, okay? So you need to get your voices out there. So my challenge to you is to be that voice, be part of that voice, and really to be a kickback to the notion that this sector doesn't research. We know we do, but not everybody does. So, be part of that, and get your voice out there. So I'm here as you heard with Alistair, sort of being part of that story curation today. So we're going to hop in and out of rooms. So if I rock up and go, I'm not being rude. I'm just going to go and grab another little bit of the story from somewhere. What I thought was really nice was earlier Andy said about the rainbow that you're having maybe on the publication or something, part of the rainbow. And I thought, gosh, you are the treasure at the end of that rainbow. You really are. Alistair and I are part of the Sunset crew. But I tell you, there were not 126 people there at their international conference the other day. So I think this is world beating. So, thanks for letting us hang out with you today. And I'm looking forward to, finding stuff out. Thank you.
Oh, we're so made up that there are going to be so many ways for you to talk about your work, and thanks so much, Joe and Alistair. And Vicky, if I can extend your analogy somewhat, and you suggested this the other day, I just want to share it with others. Do you remember the BFG was really good at choosing which dreams to blow into which room? So Joe and Alistair will blow those dreams into the right rooms. So think of them like the BFG, but we can all act in that way, can't we? As you go around the various presentations today, think, who in my organisation needs this dream blown into their ear? Who in my organisation would benefit from understanding more about this reading approach that has been tried, or this way of helping learners to become confident digitally or confident in their speaking and listening, so we can all play the role of the BFG today. It's time for a little bit of you, a little bit for you to think, okay, I'm in this room, I've come along, what can I take away from today? And I'm going to give you just a moment to think, what do you want from today's session? It's the last day of term for some of you. It's the end of a project for many of you. What is it you want? Do you want to share, get feedback? Do you want to learn about things other people have done? So just for 30 seconds, take a minute, think, what is it I want to take from today? What will give me fulfillment? You might be sitting next to someone already, but many of us are on our computers in our offices and at home. So should we just go and sit next to somebody in a breakout room and share with them what it is that we really want to take from today? You all know that this is an assessment for learning approach, don't you? And I, in the spirit of breaking the fourth wall, I'll just say that because I think it's really important in these Zoom sessions that we sometimes say, oh, this is why we're doing it. But this will give you your own sense of direction through today. And after we've come out of breakout rooms, I'm going to share a link with you so that you can make notes about things that occur to you in the session today. So we're going to use a little Menti to do that. But first, I want to give you the chance to have a chat. So Joe Byrne, this is your heads up to set up the breakout rooms for 3s and 4s. We're going to put you in there. So let me just double check my timetable. We're going to pop you in there for, we've got 10 minutes and then we'll have a good 10 minutes. You can really get to know somebody and find out what they want in that time. So Joe, are you ready? Pop your mic on so I know, because I've lost you on the screen completely.
I'm ready.
Oh, she's ready. Good. Okay, everyone, follow the link into a breakout room. Joe, would you put 10 minutes on the clock? Have you popped? Just go into the little wheel in the bottom left-hand corner, you know.
You ready?
Ready. See you in a bit. Welcome back. Did you get a chance to meet somebody you haven't met before? That makes going to a conference worthwhile. And we thought we would have an asynchronous reflection running through the whole day. So if you've got your phone to hand, grab your phone. If you have the confidence to use a couple of different screens while you're on a Zoom, you can do this on your computer too. And you know what we love here. We love a good Menti. So we're going to pose a Menti throughout today's session. It is on your Wakelet, so you could have got to it there. And it's going to ask you some questions, and you can answer those questions at any point through the day. We hope it gives you a chance to think about the day, think about what you've learned, and we will share the anonymous responses from everyone with you after the session to give you a chance to think what everybody else has been thinking through the day too. So I'm just going to share my screen and I'm going to give you a link and a code. My colleagues will follow me and pop the code in chat as well. And I'm just going to talk through the questions that we're asking throughout the day. And this is at your own pace, so you can push these questions at any time you wish. So firstly, share a word to describe what engaging in research this year has meant for you. That's the first thing. Share a word to describe what engaging in research this year has meant for you. And then the second question you can push is, how has your understanding of how students learn changed this year? So how has your understanding of how students learn changed this year? What have you learnt through participating in OTLA that will change your practice next year? What have you learnt about your subject? What do you now know about maths or English or ESOL or EDS that you didn't know before you started researching? This is anonymous, remember. What do you wish you could have shared in your report but felt it wiser not to? How has it felt to be part of an action research community? How could we strengthen this further? And then we'll ask you at the end if there's anything you would like to share with us. So this is something you can do throughout the day. These questions are on the Menti. If you get stuck, you just ask us in chat. The code is 58011230.